Okay, so good day and welcome to your FABM 2 class. So this is week 2 and we will be discussing about the statement of financial position part 1. Okay? So the information accumulated and processed in financial accounting is periodically communicated to the users by means of financial statements. Okay? So sino ba yung mga users? So meron tayo mga inside users, inside the business and yung mga outside users na kailangan nilang gamitin yung ating financial statements. Okay? Isa sa mga financial statement na pinipresent ng business ay statement of financial position. Okay? So meron siyang part 1 and part 2. So discuss natin yung statement of financial position definition. Okay, so statement of financial position, also known as the balance sheet, is a formal statement presenting the three accounting elements, which are the assets, liabilities, and equity. Okay, so siguro naman familiar na kayo dito sa tatlong ito, no? So the major accounts, the assets, liabilities, and equity. Okay, so a statement of financial position is one of 4 business documents a public company must file every year in order to retain their status. Yung ibang company, depende sa accounting cycle nila. Kasi usually yearly yan, annually. Pag sinabing annually, yearly. Pwede rin namang semi-annual and quarterly and monthly. Okay? So depende sa nature ng business. Okay? So most often, statements of financial positions are called balance sheets. Okay? However, when a company is a government or non-profit organization, the original term is statement of financial position. Okay? So yun yung ginagamit. Pagka mga private company, government or non-profit organization, ang tawag ay statement of financial position. Okay? So most often, this statement is prepared and released as one of the last events for the specific accounting period. So this means that all transactions in the 3 sections listed above are given on a single document and are posted to a general ledger. So more simply, a statement of financial position is a single picture of company's entire financial position for a given period of time, and its goal is to summarize changes in financial activity. Okay, so next is the composition or the components of balance sheet or the statement of financial position. Okay, so the first one is the heading. Okay, so heading is the first component of the balance sheet, and it is extremely important since it tells the readers of the balance sheet the 3 important pieces of information. Okay, so nandiyan yung the company name. So sa pinakataas, company name, naka-center po yan. Okay, company name, and then number 2, type of statement to follow, yung next line, yung tinatawag na balance sheet, and then the date at which account value applies. Okay, so next, the assets. Okay, please see your module. Merong example doon ng heading ng company. Company name, yung type of statement, and then yung date. Okay, so please see your module. Okay, so next is the major accounts, yung assets, liabilities, and equity. So discuss natin yon. Assets are company's resources and which are the things the company owns. Okay, so these are economic resources of the business. So nandyan yung letter A, assets are resources owned and controlled by the enterprise, no? So pagmamay-ari. And then assets are acquired by an enterprise as a result of past transaction or event. Okay, so pwede yun, acquired siya from past transaction. And then number 3, the enterprise should have the capacity to restrict or prevent other entities from enjoying the economic benefits arising from the use of of the resource of item. Okay? So, ayan, makikita nyo sa inyong screen yung assets equals liabilities plus equity. Okay? So, yun yung ating assets. Okay? So, next is the liability. So these are companies Obligations, amounts the company owes to other business, so the government, shareholders, employees, and others. So may kita nyo sa liabilities, example, nandiyan yung accounts payable to supplier, credit card balance, long-term debt. Di ba? Pag sinabi nating liability, it is an obligation, no, na kailangan isettle ng business owner. Okay? So yun yun. So na-discuss naman natin sa part 1. No? So next is the capital. So capital or owner's equity is the amount left over after liabilities are deducted from assets. Okay? So pag yung assets minus liabilities, so ang remaining amount ay equity. Yan ang tinatawag na equity. Okay? So meron kayo example dyan sa screen. Nakikita nyo yung owner's equity amounting to $22,500. Okay? So next is current assets and liabilities. So assets are or liabilities which are expected to be used or paid within the next 12 months. Okay, yun yung tinatawag nating current assets and current liabilities, no? Pwede siyang isettle, pwede siyang gamitin, pwede siyang i-paid within 12 months. Okay, yan yung current longer than that, ano na siya, non-current. Okay? So sa assets, nandiyan yung current short term. Pagka fixed assets, ayan yung long term. Example niyan, yung land, building, ayan. So, and then other assets. So liabilities, classified lang siya as current and long term or non-current. So non-current assets or liabilities naman, assets or liabilities which are expected to be used paid longer than the next 12 months. So basta lalagpas ng 12 months, ang classification nun ay non-current. Okay? Then, so sa module number, sa module ninyo, nandyan naka-itemize yung liabilities and yung mga example, no, ng liabilities, yung mga short-term notes payable, accounts payable, dividends payable, and payroll liabilities, current portion of long-term notes payable, and unearned revenue. So let us check yung sa ating course module, okay, para ma-explain ko sa inyo. Okay, so example ng heading na makikita nyo sa inyong module. Okay, so company name, so example dyan, the toy company, and then type of financial statement, that is a balance sheet. So, and then yung date, no, as of December 31, 2017. Okay, so ito yung assets natin, no, classification ng assets, no, may mga example tayo dyan, and then liabilities, okay. Characteristic. So hindi ko na masyado i-discuss, na familiar naman na kayo dyan sa accounting part 1. Okay? So mag-focus tayo dito sa sa current and non-current assets. Okay, so ayan, mayroon tayong those assets which will not fall in the above criteria, di ba? Pag hindi siya 12 months, yun ay long term or non-current. So example ng mga non-current, andyan yung PPE or property, plant and equipment. And then number 2, long-term investments. And then number 3, intangible assets and others. Okay, so pag sinabing intangible assets, these are recognized at their value when they are acquired and amortized over their useful lives, no? Except goodwill, which has unlimited useful life. So they are periodically tested for impairment, and these are fixed assets that have no physical existence such as copyright, patents, goodwill, etc. Okay? Pag sinabing intangible, cannot be seen by your naked eye, cannot be touched. Okay? So copyright lang siya. For example niyan, copyright, no? Ano ba yung example? Yung mga copyright ng books, 'di ba? Bawal silang mag-reproduce, no? Halimbawa, ikaw individual gusto mo magkaroon ng kopya, kailangan mong magbayad doon sa original author ng libro, no? So that is copyright, no? Patents, pag sinabi namang research, no, meron siyang patent, you cannot actually get information about the research unless otherwise you pay for the patents, pati yung goodwill. Okay, so yun yung mga intangible assets. Then next, property, plant, and equipment, or yung tinatawag na PPE. Okay, also called tangible fixed assets. Okay, so are those fixed assets that have some physical existence. Okay, merong physical existence. So they are grouped into different classes such as land improvements, buildings, vehicles, etc. So based on their function and depreciated over their useful lives, except land. Okay, kasi ang land, instead na bumababa yung presyo ng land, siya ay tumataas over a period of time, no? Mapapansin niyo 'di ba yung value ng cellphone niyo ngayon, i-compare niyo yung brand new phone na bili niyo, i-compare niyo yung price noon after 5 years, no? So possibly mababa na lang, 'di ba? Yung mga dati yung cellphone na binili niyo ng 10,000 ngayon ay nasa 3,000 na lang, di ba? So yun yung tinatawag nating depreciation, no? Merong pagbaba ng presyo, okay? So nagkakaroon ng depreciation value dahil sa usage, no? Dahil ginagamit mo siya, kumbaga gamit na, kaya bumababa yung useful life. Okay? So hindi dine-depreciate natin siya. So binabawasan natin yung value. Ganun naman pag bumili ka ng printer, ginamit mo siya, tapos ibebenta mo, mas mababa dun sa original price. Okay? So, because of depreciation. Okay, so applicable yun sa mga property, plant, and equipment or yung mga tangible assets. No? Exempt lang sa land. The next, yung mga long-term investments. No? Long-term investments are investments which are not expected to be realized, no? Sold or otherwise converted to cash. Okay, so within next 12 months. So these include investment in common stock of companies, purchases of bonds issued by the companies. Okay, so hindi siya non-convertible sa within 12 months. Okay, then next, yung mga liabilities. So liabilities are also classified in the balance sheet as current and non-current. Okay, so siguro naman familiar na kayo sa liabilities. These are obligations, no? I-emphasize na lang natin yung current and non-current liabilities. Ayan, yung mga current liability, ito yung mga description, yung mga short-term notes payable. So pag sinabing short-term notes payable, notes due in full, less than 12 months. Okay? Full payment yun. Naka-due siya less than 12 months. So after the balance sheet date are short-term. So for example, a business may need a brief influx of cash to pay mandatory expenses such as payroll. A good example of this situation is a working capital loan, no? So which a bank makes with the expectation that the loan will be paid back from collection of accounts receivable or the sale of inventory. So nababayaran ka agad yun. And then next, accounts payable. So this account shows the amount of money the company owes to its mga vendors, no? Yung mga hindi siya, yung transaction ay non-cash payment, no, through accounts payable. So mga short term 'yan. Ay mga current 'yan, okay? Next, dividends payable, payments due to shareholders of record after the date declaring the dividend. Okay? So yung mga hindi pa nababayarang dividend, that is considered as dividends payable. The next, payroll liabilities. So most companies accrue payroll and related payroll taxes, no, which means the company owes them but has not yet paid them. Okay? Yun yung mga late na nababayaran, no? So naka-June na dapat yung payment ng salary kaso na-delay, and ang tawag doon ay payroll liabilities, no? Kasama yung kanilang mga taxes. Okay? So dapat ma-settle yon within days, no? At least days. So next, current portion of long-term notes payable. Kasi pag sinabi natin long-term notes payable, mahabang taon ang pinag-uusapan dyan. And then, merong mga portion doon ay kino-consider nating current. Okay? So if a short-term note has to be paid back within 12 months of the balance sheet date, you're probably guessed that a long-term note is paid back after the 12-month period. So however, you have to show the current portion. Okay? So that will be paid back in the current operating period as a current liabilities. Kumbaga, ipapresent mo na yun sa balance sheet or the statement of financial position, yung current portion. 'Di ba kapag meron tayong malaking utang and years bago bayaran, about 10 years bago mababayaran, so dapat iniipon mo na yung pambayad dun sa 10-year loan na yon. Okay? So yung pine-present mo sa current year statement of financial position ay yung portion na kung saan dapat uh, iniipon mo yung pambayad sa long-term loan. Okay? So 'di ba, yung halimbawa say for example 50 million for 5 years. So dapat yearly magkakaroon ka ng current portion na 1 million. Okay? So para pagdating ng 5 years, mabubuo mo yung 5 million. Sorry, 50 ano ba yung sinabi ko? 5 million. Okay? So 5 million for 5 years. Okay, so yun, dapat yearly makabuo ka ng 1 million, i-present mo yun sa statement of financial position as current portion ng long term. Okay? So next, unearned revenue. So this category includes money the company collects from customers that it hasn't yet earned by doing complete job for the customers but that it anticipates earning within 12 months of the date of the balance sheet. Okay? So parang kinolekta mo na yung payment ng mga clients or customers mo pero hindi mo pa na-perform yung service or yung hindi mo pa napapadala yung products. Okay? So ang tawag doon ay unearned revenue, no? Meron ka ng hawak na payment kasama na doon yung tubo ng service or product pero hindi mo pa na-perform or na-deliver. Okay? So next, non-current, andyan yung mga non-current portion ng long term. Yung kanina dinidiscuss ko sa long term, di ba, 5 million. Yung current portion niya ay 1 million yearly. Yung non-current portion niya, yung 4 million na natitira. Okay, so yun yung non-current. Okay, so next, number 2, capital or finance lease liabilities. Deferred tax liability, long-term obligations to company offices, and long-term deferred revenue. Okay, so yung mga long term. Okay, so bonds payable, long term yan, no? And then long term leases, product warranties. Okay? So next. Okay, so that ends the week 2. Hindi naman siya ganun kahaba talaga, no? Ang topic lang talaga for statement of financial position, part 1 is yung assets at saka liabilities. Okay? So sa part 2, didiscuss natin doon yung equity and then yung composition ng kabuuan ng statement of financial position. Okay? So this will be the end of your week 2 discussion and see you on week 3. Okay? So bye-bye na.